Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I am so glad that you are joining me, Deb Burton, Executive Director of RI Elder Info, where every Friday I bring you information and resources that you or someone you know needs to know about. And I am really excited to talk to today's guests because they are a group that are often at the same resource fairs as myself, but it's definitely a program that I don't think gets as much hype as it needs, given the amount of work that they do and the resources they provide. So I am super excited to speak to my guests today so that we can all learn more about what they are providing. Now, as you all know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we could not do this without the support of our individual donors and our sponsors, our grants. So a huge thank you to United Healthcare, our individual sponsors, and 321 Media. We are very grateful for their support. Here's a message from 321 Media. Welcome, Keith and Francis. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good morning. So often we are at the same resource fairs, and I see the sign for justice assistance, and I'm not entirely sure all of the different things that your office provides. So can you please share with everybody what is it that justice assistance provides and who are your clients?
Yeah, so Justice Assistance, we've actually been around for a wicked long time. We've been around since 1978. We actually started as like a work release program with the prisons, helping them with job support and those types of things. And then we kind of grew into more of what we were traditionally known as, which is doing the monitoring for the filings in the Rhode Island District Courts, which the filing is like a person gets a period of time that they have to do their court conditions. And the benefit is that once those conditions are met and they've been monitored for that amount of time, they've stayed out of trouble, done all the things that they got to do, it comes off their record, no cost to them automatically, that's our whole thing is we want to make sure that people leave us with a no record.
Okay.
So all the clients that we have are justice involved in some way, whether they are a person that was been charged with the crime, they are a victim of the crime. We have a victim services program that works directly through that district court program. And then we also broaden our definition of justice involved to also include, those that are involved more with DCYF, family court type of cases.
Wow. That is pretty broad. Francis, what kind of family services are available through justice assistance for individuals who may be victims?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. I appreciate you taking the time. Some of the services that we provide, so I am the clinical director for our behavioral health and primary care clinic. We provide substance abuse counseling, and that can include counseling with a focus on anger management. We also do substance evaluations. We do talk screens. We do groups. In our primary care side, we have a doctor and a nurse practitioner who can provide, basic primary care as far as physicals and sick visits. And that clinic runs 3 days a week from 10 to 3. What else do? We also have been doing a dental clinic. We partner with CareLink, and that was a collaboration with Delta Dental through Delta Dental. So we are going on our 4th dental clinic at the end of May. And folks can get that information on our website, via social media. So we offer a lot.
And yeah, I'm like hearing this, and help me understand, how do we go from individuals who are justice involved, and I can understand that part of the sentencing would have conditions, whether you need to pay restitution or it's not an area that I'm particularly familiar with, but the judge tells you that there's things that you have to do. And so you do them, and then it's like, okay, you have satisfied the directives. So that's good. But how does healthcare come into that picture? I understand a little bit about behavioral health, but if you could touch on that too, but I don't understand dental and all of that.
Well, I think healthcare, and in addition to the dental clinic, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So usually people are referred because they need the behavioral health component, the mental health counseling, the sub-use counseling, sub-use evaluations, the tox screens. So while they're here, they find out that we also have these other services. And there's such a need right now, especially for the medical, as in Rhode Island, there's a shortage of doctors. So
time.
Having this clinic has been able to address those needs for our population. And like you said, we focus on justice involved, but that can include their families, seniors in their families. So we try to be more like a wraparound. And so far, people are coming to these clinics. They're coming for their counseling appointments. We offer them in person, and we can also do telehealth. So yeah, we're trying our best to meet the needs of our population.
Yeah, and when it comes to healthcare, behavioral health, substance use disorder treatment, we do not have enough resources globally. And I know that unfortunately there are preconceived notions about what to expect when someone is formally incarcerated. And so the providers may have hesitation, and that former incarceration or that justice involvement can be a barrier to getting the healthcare and treatment you need. So I think having that wraparound service is amazing. Like, I didn't get it at first, but if you're an individual who is justice involved, maybe you have just gotten out of prison, it's, not necessarily a situation where you get your insurance immediately, but you're also, just like everybody else, you're not going to have a primary care physician right away. If you need that support to maintain your sobriety, I know many treatment programs have a bit of a backlog, and I don't want people watching to think, oh my God, I can't go into treatment if I want treatment today. If you're having a crisis, please call 988. Help is available. But, having that added support, I think, is really important. Now, I know, like, throughout time, and more recently in the last few years, some of the things that were formerly chargeable offenses, say possession of marijuana, it's now not necessarily chargeable offense unless you have UGOTS. So if an individual, say in the 70s, 80s, had that kind of charge, it is a drug charge, and that can be a barrier to housing. Is that something you guys can help with?
Yeah, we can help that in a variety of different ways. So monthly, we have our expungement clinics. So those expungement clinics are open to the public. They're available for anyone that is curious if they have charges from the past that might be still popping up on their BCI. Because like we know, most people don't know how to actually read a background check. So even if it's something that's dismissed on their record, if that never came off, it's still popping up on the BCI.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, say that you had a driving with a suspended license or without a license from, when you were 18 years old and you just wanted to go drive your car or whatever, and you didn't pass your permit test yet, and now you have that on your record, but then it got tossed because you got your license, but it's beyond that time before it became automatically sealable. That's still lingering on your thing. So people are able to come into our clinic, meet with the public defender or in-house counsel, and anything that's found to be eligible, we'll file it for them. It's usually about like a 6 to 8 week turnover between the time of the appointment and the time when, the answer is made. But the attorneys that we work with, they're really great. If there are issues that come up along the way or anything like that, then, they'll be informed and let the person that they're working with know that all those things are happening. But even with the housing, we also have our own housing program, actually. We have some units in Smith Hill. We're not going to say that our units are going to solve the state's housing crisis, but we can at least confidently say that, if only. But we can at least confidently say that, at least for our units, we don't necessarily hold those types of charges against them when they're applying for the housing. So even though all our units are taken, it might be a slow roll, and every housing wait list is just a wait. I'm not going to try to flub it up and be like, oh, you'll get in the housing unit real fast. No, it's a wait, but there's at least that confidence knowing that there are units that exist that won't hold a criminal charge against you.
Wow. Now, are there specific kinds of charges that you work with, or charges that you don't help with? Are there any parameters around that?
So we are as amendable as we're able to be. So if the court says, here's this person with this type of charge, help them out, we go, okay. But we also understand we can only take them so far depending on the charge. Because there are circumstances around that, but that doesn't mean that we just stop. We will continue to provide the support until the client gets to where their goal is. They'll mostly work with our course program, which is our wraparound services program. And that's where they do all that goal development, that life skill development, employment searching. They work with our community health worker for the insurance and the housing side of things. And that's where they kind of really work on those goals. Wherever that person wants to get to, we are going to support them to get to that point. So it really is all self-fulfilling.
Wow. So I'm thinking, and this might be a really horrible example, so please forgive me if it is. I don't mean it to be awful. There's a scene in Shawshank Redemption, and I think most people have seen Shawshank Redemption, where there's a gentleman who has been incarcerated for a very long time, and he has fulfilled his sentence, and he is released to the community. And he's just not familiar with how society is, having been incarcerated for so long. Do you have any kind of services that can help people overcome those barriers to kind of get caught up? I mean, there may be folks who have been incarcerated that are not familiar with, iPhones or cell phones or things like that, all of the technology that has come out in like the last 10 years. Can you help people kind of re-enter society?
Oh, definitely. We have a course program, which Keith had mentioned, and that program is focuses on reentry services. So we do have a certified community health care worker who can help folks apply for health insurance, for SNAP benefits, get on a housing list. We also have an employment specialist employment and education specialist who can help you look for jobs, create a resume, do a cover letter. And we have a life skills specialist to help, come up with these goals. And you're right on point, Deb, when you say, people come out and everything's different. They are not familiar with technology. Everything has moved forward. So one of the beauty of Justice Assistance is that we're located right across from the main DOC campus. So we have people that sometimes do come straight over here. And we talk to them about, okay, these are the things that, you're going to need. Let's get you situated. In an ideal world, it'd be great to just put somebody in an apartment or housing. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen right away. But we share those resources with people, and we can help with the follow-up. So, and like we said earlier, we have a clothing closet. So when people are starting to get interviews, or even if they just want to go to an appointment and they need something spiffy, something nice, we can provide that. Since I've been here, we're starting to do yearly coat drive. So this past winter we had a coat drive, and we're able to provide coats to people that were just coming out, or people that were coming in for appointments, and we let them know, hey, we have a coat. Do you need a coat? We had hats. He did a great job getting us hats and gloves and scarves. So we totally recognize, as you said, once people come out, we recognize that there's trauma. And that's one thing I would love to educate our community about, as far as being trauma informed. Because yes, it's great that people get out, but it's that transition period for them, getting used to being out in the real world and all the stimulation. People can get very overwhelmed by that. So yeah, that'd be great.
I'm listening to you speak. I think about if you have been incarcerated for a significant period of time, you don't have a hat, you don't have a coat, you might not have appropriate shoes for the weather. And if they're walking over to you, where are you by the ACI?
So we are straight down the hill. So if you're looking at the Attorney General's office, you're looking down toward Pontiac. We are directly across the street. So we're directly across the street from the AG's office and the DLT building at 1540 Pontiac Ave.
Okay. And people can walk in when they need help.
Yeah. So it's not uncommon that someone gets released. Our hours are from 8:30 to 4 during the week. It's not uncommon that if someone gets released during that time, especially, you brought up the great example of they might not be wearing weather appropriate clothing, that they end up at our offices, and that the people at the facilities are telling them to just come down, and we're clothing them so that way they can be ready to go on to their next stage of life, whether that is continuing with us or they just needed a new pair of pants or a shirt or something that was slightly more appropriate for the weather or those conditions for them to be able to get to where they need to get to.
And wow. Keith, talk about the bags that we're able to provide with the hygiene products.
Yeah, so we have a couple of bags actually. So in addition to the clothing, we do have hygiene bags that come with, shampoo, bar soap, body lotion, nail clippers, the real basic stuff. Because confidence, as much as we want to say it comes from the inside out, sometimes need it from the outside in. So just that sense of having deodorant, having nail clippers, having that self-care type of stuff can really boost someone's confidence and make them, shine the way that they know they're supposed to be. We're not really building up their confidence. We're letting them express their confidence. And then also in addition to that, we also provide food bags. So we are partnered with the Rhode Island Food Bank in the sense that we purchase food bags from them. They're these cool, knapsack looking things, like the drawstring bags. They come in with those cans, some foods and stuff, and we give those away to any person that's expressing any kind of need for kind of that food product.
Holy cow. Wow. And if someone has to reunite with their family, maybe their children, are you able to kind of help them get the skills to be able to do that? Because I would imagine it might be challenging reuniting with your family. Because perhaps who you were when they last saw you outside is not who you are when you're coming home.
I think for something like that, we can help them navigate the system as far as connecting them, whether it's with DCYF or other services. We usually work with 18 plus, but when we say we are inclusive of families, if that's a need, we can help navigate, but it's not something that we necessarily provide one-on-one, but we're definitely here to help people find their way.
Right. You're not doing the whole family therapy thing. That's separate, but you can at least give them the tools to find that.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yes.
Wow. You're so comprehensive for a population that is often stigmatized, and a lot of folks have preconceived notions. I think it's absolutely amazing what it is that you're doing. Are you guys a nonprofit? Like, how do you do this?
Yeah, we are a nonprofit. We have our 501c3 status, but the majority of our operations are grant funded and donor funded. And by that, I also mean majority grant funded. So, we're always looking for donations of any kind, whether it's to our closet, if it's monetary. We aren't in the position to accept food or anything like that. So if we are taking anything in kind, we're literally just looking at the clothing. But monetary and the clothing is probably the best way for support toward justice assistance as a nonprofit.
Awesome. Now, donations to the organization as a whole, as a nonprofit, I know is always really, really helpful. How about help promoting social media, volunteers? Do you need those kinds of things?
Yeah, so we welcome everyone to keep informed about us through our social media. We are very active on LinkedIn and on Facebook. Those are probably the best ways. That's where people will be able to find any programs that we're doing, if we have any fundraisers happening, if we have any drives that are happening, or new programs and innovations that are going on. That's going to be the best way to stay informed. As far as volunteers go, I mean, if I keep on getting clothing at the rate that I am, I'm going to need to do a volunteering day to have some people go through some stuff with me, because I am a one-man band. And when, we are a very small organization, we talked a lot about this work, but we're also only about a staff of 20. So every person has a very strong role. So
and interns here and there.
Yes. So, if I keep getting clothes the way I'm doing, stay aware to our newsletter and on social media, because I might put something out there saying I need to do a clothes sorting day.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And only with a band of 20 and some interns. I understand that statement really well, but what you're doing is amazing. I see you guys out at so many different resource events. I hope, and I will send you more information. I hope you'll be able to join us at our 7th annual Calling All Veterans Day event. That's coming up in August 15th. It's a Saturday. I don't know if you guys do Saturdays. You probably jamming Monday through Friday. So I don't know if you want to do a Saturday, but if you would, that'd be awesome.
I would love to. That's my main role. I'm the person that's usually out there in the community. When staff are able to join, they come with me. So consider us already a yes. Just send me the info.
Perfect. Well, with everything you guys have going on, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on today. You're an amazing organization doing a lot of work for some folks that are often set aside. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is such an amazing organization that, I happen to be in a lot of resource fairs, talking to a lot of folks, and I kept seeing them, and I was so curious, and I'm so glad that they were able to come on Friday Friends, because we do have a lot of individuals who have been justice involved. We have a lot of older adults who are justice involved. And sometimes that is a barrier for them to receive the care that they need or the housing that they need. So I'm really glad to learn more about justice assistance. It is an amazing program, and it may be something that you or family member or friend, you may need their services. So please hit the like button, the share button, all of those social media cues that say, hey, check this out. And you know what? If they have a clothing sort day, consider volunteering to help them. And we want to make sure that the men and women are able to have the appropriate attire so that they can seek full-time employment that will benefit them and their families as they go forward into their new life. So we are all in this together. I say this all the time. We have to help each other out. So I'm glad that you joined me today. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.